welcome back to another video. If you're new, my name is Leah and I am all about spending less and creating more. And today I'm going to be getting some prep work done with some clearance groceries that I found at my local grocery store. So let's get on into the kitchen and get some stuff done. I'm starting today's food prep with some homemade French bread, which I have had a couple of videos made for you all on how I do that. So I will leave it in the description box for you to follow along there, and the recipe will be down below as well. I have my dough going in here now. So while that's working for me, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on our veggies. So here's what I picked up when I was at Food City the other day. $1 for all of these peppers. I hadn't counted them yet. 2, 4, 6, 7. I think there's 7 in here. And then all of these peaches, I think there's a couple plums in here as well. That I got for $1.67. We're gonna work with what we have here. I also have these 2 peppers I got the other day, part of a clearance bag, and I'm going to use up the rest of these mushrooms. I already started on those. So my plan is to get the peppers and mushrooms cooked and into my freezer with some onions. That'll be really easy to pull out. And then the fruit, I think I'm going to cook, peel, and then freeze it. I've got to be able to enjoy some of the good ones, right? So for ones that have some bad spots, I'm just going to slice that off. And then I still have a really good plum here. This one, not so much. And then we have 2 oranges that are good. I'm gonna wash these off and stick them into my fridge. So now I have all of these peppers, mushrooms, and onions that I want to use up. It's gonna make really easy breakfast prep or even dinner prep if I get them cooked, and then into my freezer, which you can also just leave them raw, that's fine too. But I'm going to get them cooked. That way I can just microwave them really fast in the morning or immediately throw the cooked veggies in with an omelet or breakfast scramble, whatever. So let's do that. Got nice clean mushrooms here. And the water doesn't bother me at all because I'm actually going to saute them in a little bit of water. And I just want to get these sliced into half slices, be a little bit easier. They do shrink whenever you cook them a little bit. So the pieces will end up being even smaller whenever I use these in breakfast. Now, my family, my husband and my kids, they do not prefer mushrooms because of the texture of them. However, if I do something like a cream of mushroom soup, or I put mushrooms in something without them being big chunks, then they have no idea that I've used mushrooms. So one of the things that I like to do to get some good nutrients from mushrooms, they have great vitamins in them. I like to actually put them into my blender, like mixer thing, my food chopper, and get them chopped up super, super small and mix it in with cooked ground beef. And then you can and then the options are endless. You can put that into a lasagna, spaghetti, tacos, chili. I have no idea. So here our peaches and a couple nectarines are just working. We're gonna let those get nice and tender. And then I've got all of my peppers. I'm actually going to be using a few of these tonight in our dinner to go along with that French bread. French bread is the main course. To go along with our bread tonight, I am making some pasta. If you haven't seen my Rattlesnake Pasta video, I definitely recommend that. I'm going to adjust it as I cook so that my kids can have some of the sauce without all of the extra spice. So I'm gonna make my classic Alfredo sauce tonight, and then add the peppers, add the bell peppers to that, and then do the jalapenos separately to Dakota's in my meal. And then again, with the hot sauce, the Cajun seasoning, those are things that you're just going to want to add to taste, to heat preference, because it does make really spicy. I love bell peppers. I smell them. Instantly, I'm brought back to the farm that I worked on. I actually worked in Iowa at a produce farm. They did peppers, cucumbers, and tomatoes. So I enjoyed working there. Hold on, pick up all the pieces off the floor first, okay? So I really enjoyed working there. It was a fun job. It was really hard. You had to get up early in the morning, pick all the produce, and then I would go over to the farmer's market and sell. And then they also sold a lot to their local grocery store. It was basically like a Kroger, if you've ever heard over in Iowa area of Hy-Vee. They actually sold their produce to them. So it was really fun. It was a really neat experience, and I got to learn a lot. I learned a lot about peppers and tomatoes and cucumbers and how they grow. But every time I smell peppers and tomatoes, it just brings me right back to that summer that I worked there. Got my nice big pot here. And I'm gonna slice all of these. I'm gonna do some in bite-sized pieces because the ones with mushrooms, this pot that I'm doing with the mushrooms is going to end up being for breakfast. So I want bites for the eggs. So whenever you're purchasing things that are on clearance, it's really important to know whether you're going to be able to use them quickly enough before they go bad. Whether it's produce, meat, anything that you're finding on clearance, it can be a really great deal as long as you're actually using it. I mean, sure, if you were able to purchase everything for half price, but then you only actually use half of it before it goes bad, then you really didn't get a good deal, right? So it's important to make sure that you're aware of what your family will actually eat on time before it goes bad. And also to find creative ways of preserving those items in case you don't want to use them right away. There are so many times I purchase things I know we're not going to be using fast enough. That's why the freezer comes in handy. So many things that I pick up go straight into the freezer, and I can use them at our own family's pace. And the same thing is for a lot of your vegetables. You can throw right into the freezer and then cook them later. I think that mushrooms, peppers, and onions are amazing going straight into the freezer. You don't have to prep them, blanch them, pre-cook them, or anything. So that's what I'm going to do with the majority of these now that I have a good portion for breakfast ready to saute. I'm gonna add an onion to that, and then the rest of these I'm going to put into slices for our pasta, and for other meals that's gonna go straight into the freezer. Now I have 2 quart bags of peppers, sliced raw, ready to go into my freezer for some future dinners. You can see that the peel comes right off. That's what we're looking for. So here I have all of the peels off of the peaches and nectarines. It comes right off after you have them boiled. So I'm just going to remove the pits. And here I have my mushrooms, peppers, and onions. I'm gonna let that go just for a couple more minutes. This will go really good with eggs, and especially like in a breakfast burrito. Put some Canadian bacon in there. I have peppers for tonight's dinner, and I'm also going to do 5 cloves of garlic for that sauce, and about half of this onion. I'll have the recipe down below for you on how I make rattlesnake pasta, as well as my traditional Alfredo sauce. Now, the way that I like to do it is with heavy whipping cream instead of milk and flour and butter and make a roux, but you can do it either way. This bread smells so good.
Hopefully this gave you some new ideas, and of course, until the next video, I will see you down in the comments.